land combatant as well. Went to Apex with Reunited. Played there as well. Very impressive resume for a player, but impressive resumes need to be buffed up right now. British Hurricane going to be flexing their guns on the defense. It's 3-3 once again. Angry Titans coming out with the same thing. No one wants to take risks here, Jaws, because the stakes are too high. There's so much pride on the line here. Everyone wants that first seed, and of course, they want that flawless group stage.
Scary that there's still a kind of a curse behind it. No one's had a complete, clean sweep of a season just yet. That's a very dangerous pick-off there. Hafikul going so low. If he gets demeked in that situation, it's pretty much doom and gloom for British Hurricane. Nice rotation by Angry Titans trying to push British Hurricane off of the high ground, but they claim some capture percentage as they move on to point.
Rocket rotating his Harmony up here. A lot of damage being taken by British Hurricane and a tick being taken by Angry Titans.
Fraction a little bit too late. Bog's going to stay up on the high ground though. Urki is going to pay the price, but Numlock's going to go down as well. Main tank falling for British Hurricane is pretty disastrous, especially when we're on the defense. That spawn point is so long and so far away. Sooner right clicking though into the back line. AT were forced into a corner and Losish ends up going down. And a rally from Danit as well is going to make sure they stay alive for so long. AT actually backing up and splitting themselves off now as well. Two members of AT are in no man's land. They're in danger zone. Spectral's going to go down. Fat's going to follow him. And Sooner, he's 10% towards a grab.
What happened to the cores, Jaws? They went out towards the back way thinking, oh no, we can catch Numlock as he respawns. But Numlock just joins the rest of his team and they're pincered between the shield that they cannot break through and the hammer which will punish them for any further transgressions and a huge amount of energy which Sooner was shoving at them. And you can see how effectively he shoved it because he's 5% away from a Graviton Surge. You can go for a potential early attack here. Maybe British Hurricane, they'll change up the tempo, change up the momentum, catch Angry Titans off guard, who once again, they sort of split up. A-Fox was on his own for a moment but will recover. And now the team are once again together and gaining all-important capture percentage.
Yeah, they're going on point once more. Almost getting the second tick. British Hurricane a little bit quicker this time around. Shadow's going to hit the floor as the beat does as well, as Angry Titans still trying to go for Numlocked. The Shadow does nothing, but the Graviton Surge definitely did. Self-Destruct's going to get launched on top as well. A nice boot does end Fat's life. But Angry Titans are still swinging. They're still fighting as they've got a grab of their own. He gets sent in and actually lashes itself to Numlocked. That beat might just save his life though. His shield not quite so lucky, but AT once again forced into a tight corner and a tight corridor. Free for Numlock to swing away. And they find yet another fight. And now AT, they may have claimed 2 ticks, Harry, but there's still 1 minute and 40 seconds left for them to attack and gain the last.
2 ticks cost them 2 minutes and 30 seconds, Jaws, and a lot of ultimates in that previous fight as well. They invested basically everything that they had, and Lolsish are now going to be the closest to yet another ultimate. The same can be said of British Hurricane. So if Angry Titans here can just make their way to a point again, they can go for that sort of like, oh, I'm going to pressure you into contesting. You can't give away a tick again. You can't afford to disengage. You can't afford to pick your moment. You've got to run straight to us, and that's exactly what they're doing.
It's milliseconds. That's what counts right now. Got to be careful. Soonest 30% away towards a grab.
Oh, that's an
a very dangerous pick-off onto Spectral. There's no defense now for Angry Titans. Losish is dead as well. They've got perhaps 1 to maybe 1.5 attacks at this point. 50 seconds now remain. British Hurricane looking like they're going to hold on first.
And British Hurricane, they're dividing and conquering so well, Jaws. They go for Spectral. Emil does have that meg, but will be executed before he can get it back. Of course, they didn't want to feed that 600 HP of ult charge to the enemy team. They go for Spectral, ensuring that Spectral's far too concentrated on the front line to go and give that projected barrier to Wayfox, and also he can't use the energy he has to deal a lot of damage to Hafikul in that assassination. And look at all these ultimates British Hurricane have ready to go. All 3 of the playmaking ultimates are available, and 20 seconds remain for Angry Titans. It's going to take an absolute miracle for them to cap this point.
They're so ready, British Hurricane. You can see it in their eyes. All tick marks. Numlock jumping onto the point. Don't want to give any more time away. Nice grab. Big straight pin. Into the pin. Fat's going to go down. Self-destruct on top.
It's brutal.
Spectral, A-Fox, Urki. They're all dead. Angry Titans go back to spawn. British Hurricane are going to hold on first. 2 ticks required by AT. There's a small, very fine win condition for them in this map. If they don't win it though, British Hurricane will be on match point.
They're cashing out their chips, Jaws. They're walking out of the club for a pretty easy win condition here on Horizon Lunar Colony. And like you said, if they can get that, match point will be in their court. Angry Titans here, they need to steel themselves. They need to huddle together, get their brains together. They've got to be like, what are we going to do to keep our mentality stable during this long-haul defense? 4 minutes is what stands between them and claiming the map, despite all of what you would statistically think would be British Hurricane's advantages. They do have about 75%, 3/4 of the capture here, and that will be their buffer. That is their lifeline. They cannot afford to give away any ticks for free here. If they give away 2 ticks, Jaws, then it only takes about 8% to be accrued before... Oh, that's a broken Roomba. Yeah. It only takes about 8% to be accrued before the point will slip over, so you cannot afford to be sort of like undisciplined.
Come on, Danid. Do it for the boys.
Sit for the boys.
The Torb. Bring it out. He's not going to bring it out. Hovering present, though. Pretty nice. That is the most adorable emote, by the way, in the game. If not the.
Do those count as... Oh, no, they're more like his children. I was like, do they count for Pet Day?
Come on,
My baby.
But maybe. I don't know. Angry Titans on the defense. Hurricane. Of course, they're going to run 3-3. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to run anything else. 80. Not that too much of a different defense here. You can imagine we're going to see a meal up on the high ground on the right-hand side, and 80 just got to make those rotations perfect. Remember what happened to British Hurricane on defense? They let a couple of ticks go right from under their nose. Yeah, and it's because they wanted the optimal positioning to try and take that fight. We often saw Bucket in that top window just being able to peek out using his charge shots to try and get those early picks, deliver the early pressure, which would force Angry Titans to use resources. And now Angry Titans want to do exactly the same thing to British Hurricane. Right now, they are going to be looking down on British Hurricane, trying to figure out the rotation. There could be a fakie here from British Hurricane. You can see that Danid is still scouting out the back, making sure no one's coming around the back. Numlock is going to open that door. It doesn't like the engagement will be taken here by British Hurricane. Space, no one can really hear you scream. Suning actually gets pushed out here. It takes a little bit longer to actually get back to the rest of his team, and they punish him for it. But Logs is just going to go down as well, and Emil was just left completely open. But Suna, exactly the same fate he suffered as Fat ends up securing the kill. Angry Titans, they need to be able to stabilize at this point. They managed to kill off Bok as well, one of the main damage dealers, and get a nice little stagger onto Happy Cool as well.
Good job there from Emil as well. Using a Bunny Blaster did regain control of his mech. If he did not have that for the next fight, it may have very much destroyed the chance of Angry Titans. But this is exactly what they need, Jaws. We talked about how they need to get their heads together. They cannot be discouraged by the abject failure of an attack that they had. They now have to focus on the victory condition, which is so tight, and that is the defense. They have not given away a single tick here because they're meeting British Hurricane early, not allowing for that point pressure to force out their rotations. They're instead taking the fights on their terms by interrupting where British Hurricane want to go. And already, 1 minute and 30 has elapsed here, Jaws, and you've only got 4 minutes, so that is valuable time which is gone, but of course they have traded it for ultimate charge.
Logs actually gets spooked off. He's going to receive a personal barrier, and actually a Graviton Surge gets launched in as well. 4 people have been corralled together. Numlock willing to fight the fight, though. Transcendence is going to get used from AT as well. As the perfect pin lands into the Shatter, but it still gets blocked up. A beautiful counter Shatter, but this might be it. Hafikul and Numlocks are going to go low, but a Transcendence is going to keep them alive. Self-destruct up in the air by Emil, but it might be too little too late. Him, Fox, Nurky are the only ones left. They're going to try and get back to the point, but I don't think it's going to matter. British Hurricane are going to take the fight on the ground and take the map as well. Someone's going to be able to touch potentially, but Emil is the only one there.
Loltish will rejoin them. There's his fat sound barrier as well.
He's going to come in. Rally is going to come forward as well. Emil gets instantly demeched as he gets taken down too. Danid fighting Urki 1v1. Ball comes in to try and delay some more time. Spectral on the Tracer, in fact, as well. But it's just trickling members of AT onto the point. British Hurricane will claim Horizon and claim match point in the series.
And that was such a beautiful forcing of positioning from Loltish. He left from the high ground, jumping in to British Hurricane, and of course he was controlled so well with a whip shot on the boot from Yofi, and of course Danid. And what happened after that? They used the Graviton Surge on British Hurricane, couldn't do enough damage. There wasn't really much support available for British Hurricane. They didn't have a Transcendence available. Then they used their own Trance to try and be able to follow up after that. If you're using a Graviton, and then you have to use your Transcendence as well, something's gone very wrong in that fight.
Bit of a misplay of ultimates from AT. British Hurricane now on match point as we go on to Junkertown. Do not go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back. AT versus Angry Titans. Nope, that's the same team. Hurricane
it's the Angry versus the Titans.
Hurricane versus Angry Titans. Hurricane are 2-1 up in the series right now. And if you cast your mind all the way back to Season 3, Harry, of 2018, they were in the exact same situation. They actually took the series from AT in a 3-1 fashion.
We'll have to see if history will repeat itself. We're going to be heading over to Junkertown Jaws, and I want to see Sparker here, because we often see the hit scan talents, especially on that first point, because the first point is so open, and it's so good for these first point holds when you can have such a superior position for a Widowmaker, or an Ashe, or a Hanzo on the water tower, which you actually do see in the artwork there, that big blue one storing all the water for Junkertown. I'm sure that's not polluted at all.
And it's probably not enough for the entirety of Junkertown either.
Well, some of them may be Omnics. They probably don't need water.
True.
They need oil or something, and electricity.
Or maybe that's an oil barrel.
WD-40 on that Zenyatta.
He's fine. He'll patch him right up.
Makes him a more flexible support.
And remember what Hafikul said as well in that interview you gave a couple of days ago? We are better than Angry Titans in almost every single way. Currently, they are proving that. 2-1 up in the series. It's feeling pretty good. They're going to stick with the same roster out, Harry. We're not going to see Sparker today. Angry Titans on attack. Hurricane on defense.
Yeah, they've got their boot on the throat of Angry Titans. Maybe they feel like they don't really need to have any swap-ups here because they are winning so abjectly in this 3-3 versus 3-3 matchup, and they can continue to show that on the defense. Angry Titans are going to be the ones feeling the pressure to try and mix things up here. And it's surprising, but once again, we see British Hurricane starting on the defense. Of course, Angry Titans, they had the choice as to whether they wanted to attack or defend first, as the losers of the previous round. King's Row, it was a choice of British Hurricane to defend first. Angry Titans went up against British Hurricane, not a great attack. The same thing happened again on Horizon Lunar Colony, and Angry Titans are still going for attack first, so you've got to wonder what the strategy is.
A big boost in mental is what they require right now, currently. Angry Titans doing a little bit of scouting, I can imagine. Hurricane holding so far up. It's going to be so hard for Spectral to get on top of the payload, which is exactly where he wants to be. Nice little mine there, booping people up into the air, and Yofi is actually going to go down. You see Urki just kind of soloing in the skies. Fat's going to join him momentarily, and it's all about punishment for the people that are so far up. Hafikul is going to get demeched as well. That Baby Diva doing a little bit of work, but Urki's going to kill him off.
Demeched and D-Life, but still the payload isn't moving. Jaws, we do see AFOX getting quite involved there. Numlocked goes out into the range of Spectral. Everyone just feeding themselves under the cart, buying those precious seconds, but giving away ultimate charge. Look at all those ultimate charge across the board there. Jaws, Spectral almost has the configuration tank available. That's really good to deliver burst damage, which can absolutely doom slow-moving supports like
what he's doing
on
too.
that Ana.
Jumping on top of these cars, getting a little bit of high ground. I don't need the payload. Just want to sit up here, just rain death from above. Numlock's going to change over to the Winston, as they do have Bok as well on the Ana. Give a little hello to Urki. They're actually just going to surround the payload now, so Spectre in kind of a worse off position at this point.
Well,
Not
in the worst position, being gunned down by the minigun, of course, and Urki free to rain down those rockets before being checked by Bocket. Tank form is available, so is the Valkyrie.
The shields, Hafi's going to have to be careful. A nice sleep, though, straight past the shield. It was down. And now a sleeping tank ain't going to do nothing, but they're still contesting the payload. A British Hurricane biding so much time here. Hafikul will end up losing his mech. Nice little bio grenade from the Ana to keep everybody alive. Logstish ends up falling down as there's a lot of rally and a lot of armor now being built up for British Hurricane. An EMP comes through. They do scurry for cover, but still, I want to stress how much room British Hurricane are buying themselves. Half the time bank of Angry Titans has already elapsed.
That has AFOX going to be trying to do something here with the grenades. We'll get rid of Numlocked and bring himself over to safety, and so it seems like Angry Titans eventually have ruled out some position on this point. Danner's not going to be able to last for long despite his best attempts to do so. Bucket will be the final one to fall. Angry Titans, half the time bank, like you said, is drained away, but distance has been gained here. Urki's being checked by the off-tanks with that little bit of hit scan prowess. Of course, both Diva and Zaya have hit scan capabilities, but at short range. And look at that trap there that's right under Urki, potentially trying to bait people in if that's not destroyed by British Hurricane straight away.
There's the bongo. Oh no, Sooner fell for the trap, walked straight into it. A big engage though from British Hurricane. Nice headshot by Spectral, but that nano boosted monkey with the beat as well.
Clean.
Is going to be enough for him to survive for the time being. Ty's going to come through as well from A-Fox, find the Mecha Happy-Ghoul, but he's going to use a self-destruct in order to find the remake. British Hurricane are going to continue to hold. Bok is also very safe off on the high ground. Resurrection onto Spectral to bring him back into the fight, but Numlock quickly checking him.
Yeah, not going to be lasting very long at all. Can use the Primal Rage for a second leap, but still throws a pocket there.
Spectral needs heads. He needs to click someone's head right now in order to make this fight worth it. AT now having to run back to spawn. There's no way Fat's going to escape alive, so he just donates himself to the ult bank of British Hurricane. Now there's only 60 seconds actually remaining.
And British Hurricane managed to do that without Sooner and Danit as well. Only 4 people on the cart. It was Jofi, Hathikal, Numlocked, and Bocket being able to contain themselves against the torrent of damage that was being thrown out by Angry Titans. A heroic stand, but that heroic stand may crumple under them with a meal.
That's a big grab. 5 people caught up. They're dead already.
Big anti.
Big anti-grenade landing on the heads of AT. They got the EMP. You could see Emil was setting up. But they have 30 seconds now remaining for them to make sure this payload touches that first point to extend their time bank.
Like Futurama every other season, that push was absolutely cancelled. Emil now ready to cancel out any abilities British Hurricane have available. If he can catch people within that EMP, he wants to make sure Bocket cannot use the nano boost. But look, Bocket's in such a different position. Up on the high ground, it's going to be so hard to catch him. If you want to get the rest of British Hurricane, the nano boost is ready.
He can go for the long-range nano. He gets it. It lands on Numlocked. He unleashes the Primal Rage regardless.
Oh, no,
booming people off. Oh, no. He's going to visit the Australian outback. Urki's going to go down. Numlocked is just batting everybody around. A-Fox is also dead. 18 now just scurry back to the point, but Yofi's on a killing spree. Logsish falls. Overtime's going to tick down. And for the 3rd map in a row, British Hurricane might just win it. AT have been held at the first point as well. 2 maps in a row also. Horizon didn't go their way. Junkertown looking the way of Hurricane.
And I want to bring it back, Jaws, to that attack from Angry Titans, which looked like it was going to be so successful. Spectral gets 2 headshots. Sooner goes down straight away. If that's your main damage source in the 3-3, you lose that high charge Zarya. What teeth does your dive have at all? And then you lose Danit as well. That's a lot of aura healing on the cart, which can be denied. That means Bocket is going to be in a far more vulnerable position, cannot get the Inspire healing from when Danit's brawling out. And in a 4 versus 6 scenario, British Hurricane, they were so composed. They were choosing their targets perfectly. They forced out a Valkyrie. They got that res onto Spectral after he was killed. And then they managed to kill him again. Numlock's doing such a good job of checking Spectral right now, and they also knew Emil was going to have that EMP, so what do? They go in early, they break up the tempo, they don't even let Angry Titans touch the cart. They're like, okay, we're engaging now, while Emil's trying to set up, because they know that he's going to be looking for that EMP. He's going to try and catch out all of these members of British Hurricane, but they don't allow that. They get the 5-man grab, the big follow-through with the Wild Grenade, and the cleave from the Winston's just too much to bear.
This is the final stand for Angry Titans to keep their undefeated streak in groups for this season. They need to be able to win this, then we'll go onto a control map, and then they'll have to win that in order to ensure they continue to go undefeated. British Hurricane, they're only a few meters away from actually doing just that. Remember I mentioned before that the last scoreline for the head-to-head was 3-1 in favor of British Hurricane all the way back in Season 3. Angry Titans doing something a little bit more different here. Oh, a bit more standard for Junkertown. Got Hog, got Junkrat, and now you got Widowmaker too.
It's going to be an aggressive hold here, but an aggressive power driver as well coming through from Danit.
Quad tank for the side of British Hurricane as well. Look at the pressure. Spectral's going to have to back off rather readily. Oh, that's not the grapple you wanted, but he's going to make do with the range.
It will do. He does have a
hook.
rather nice shooting range here, and Danit will be easily cleaned up with the Holt, the hook, the damage boost, and of course, the Junkrat damage. British Hurricane going to back off from the cart now. Don't want to push it any further. Going to wait to be fully manned before they go in for their next attack. But look at how much shield pressure Angry Titans will have available. With a damage boost to Junkrat, the Orisa, Fusion Driver, and of course, Emil throwing out Scrap Pellet after Scrap Pellet, especially into Danit, taking so much damage.
Yikes. A-Fox going to claim a kill of his own as well. Numlock trying to get a bit of extra ult charge. Big commute. Yeah, he did wrap around the entirety of that small house. He's almost got himself a Riptide now. Angry Titans looking pretty healthy in terms of ult banks. Got a couple of DPS ults online too.
Speaking of ult banks, Jaws, look at Sooner in that ultimate percentage, only 34% for a minute in right now, and he's had high energy this entire time because he's been eating these Junkrat grenades with his personal barrier. But Angry Titans are being so cohesive in their formation, they're not allowing for any space for Sooner to land those mortars or get some of that hit scan beam damage in. Spectral's going to take point now, will deliver a quick body shot to Numlock. That will deliver about 120 damage. little bit more if he has that damage boost.
Zander going in once again, disrupting people on the high ground. The tie gets killed by Numlocked. They're going to continue to move the payload, and they're just jumping on the back line of AT. Urki's going to go down as Numlocked swings away freely. Numlocked, Lolsish, they're all dead. Lolsish is going to go down, but Spectral at least clicks one head. That head falls as Emil also finds a kill, but that Coalescence is going to be hard to deal with now if you're AT. Fat finds the res as Spectral once again coming in clutch, taking out Yofi. Numlocked is going to fall, but that payload continues to move.
Well, this is where you need the clutch plays, Jaws. This is what you pay
He's taken out five people for Spectral. He wants to keep the hopes and dreams of AT alive. Sooner ends up going down. British Hurricane now have to reconvene back on point, but they got else to work with.
Emil may be the Gravedigger, but Spectre is creating his own Spectres right now. British Hurricane have what they need to try and win the next fight. Almost 4 tank ultimates. You're going to get the Graviton Surge. You can get the Self-Destruct on top of that, the Minefield as well, and then Earth Shatter, whatever happens to be left. Angry Titans need to strike early.
Dan is going in with the Mine. Self-Destruct as well. Is going to get launched in. Doesn't find anybody, but splits the rest of AT. Spectre's going to be more than safe alive in the back line, but his front line is not quite so lucky. A Graviton Surge is used on top of the Transcendence. Jerky and AFOX are dead. Spectral now has to go man mode on the rest of British Hurricane, but I don't think it's going to happen. Urki and Emil, they're all gone. British Hurricane are going to sink into that golden box of victory, claim the 3-1 in the series, and go undefeated going into playoffs.
7-0, and what a better way to do it, Jaws, than having so many flawless defenses. All of those, they had 2 full holds in a row on Horizon and on Junkertown, and have the second point hold on King's Row. The second that a payload gets involved, they seem to be all over this. For Control Point, seemingly a little bit of a weakness, and that was where Angry Titans could really make their mark, but it wasn't clean by any means, Jaws. And we also tried to experiment a bit with that DPS-based composition. So when it comes to the 3-3 duel right here, British Hurricane, I can't believe I'm going to say this, they look so much stronger on tanks than Angry Titans.
Angry Titans has been the team of tanks all the way back from Season 1 of 2018. History has repeated itself once again. Hurricane find the 3-1. Control was Angry Titans' map type. But as soon as they moved into King's Row, momentum shift completely in the court of Hurricane. They take the 3 maps, and they guarantee themselves the #1 seed as well, coming out of groups.
Congratulations to them. I'm sure they're going to savor that. Undefeated. It's a really good look for them. Spectral did have his moments popping off here, but unfortunately, it seems like British Hurricane just too overbearing, too hard to just grind down. They would keep coming back, and they didn't invest ultimates when they didn't really need to. It seemed like they were incredibly disciplined in the calls that were made, and you need to be disciplined, Jaws, when you're pulling off these defenses, because that requires the best ult economy and always being able to take the fight your way.
The curse, though, is still there. No undefeated team has won a season just yet. Eagle Gaming, Angry Titans, and Morning Stars all had their time in the sun of being undefeated in the regular season. Can British Hurricane do it all the way to the finals? We'll have to wait and see. But what a fantastic game. It really showcased of how British Hurricane has come together and has been a team that has had so many swap-ups as well in terms of rosters. They brought Sparker in as this massive hit scan talent, which I'm sure we'll probably see during playoffs. He's been such an integral part of the team right from the get-go.
Yeah, of course. They've also lost some players to Overwatch League. Fusions and Kid picked up by Boston Uprising.
And Astro now as well.
Guangzhou Charge, respectively. And yeah, funny Astro going over to the Atlanta Reign, I believe. He hasn't played for them yet, as far as I know. He is competing for that spot with Marsos. Another export from EU, by the way. We do like to make those main supports, and we make them good. But yeah, British Hurricane, they've had a bit of a tumultuous roster, and this is Angry Titans' first season across the 4 that we've commentated where they have a slightly different roster, because they lost Elivo and Luddy. They've brought in Fat and Emil instead. And Emil, he's definitely living up to the sort of reputation that Elivo left behind. He's getting a load of grab eats. He's getting the self-destruct kills as well. Just didn't turn up this series. It seems like very few of Angry Titans players did turn up this series as much as we expected.
New patch as well going into playoffs does mean Baptiste is going to be available. There's a lot of scary